Welcome back to another episode of Chair Shots and Chit Chats, where we talk everything WWE. To my right, I have CE, and I am Paco. Before we start, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It really helps us out. What are we talking about today, CE?
Man, I think we, at the end of last episode, we were talking about a nickname.
A nickname
A faction name.
Oh,
For Seth Rollins.
We did say that.
And Braun Breaker.
You know what? I did not do my homework. So while you tell me yours, I'll think of mine.
So I have... Give me 1 second. I gotta pull it up. I have...
Okay,
maybe I don't have... Oh, yeah, I do. I do have. Here are some of my favorite ones. That I... Oh... Never mind, I don't have them.
You lost them?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I thought of one right now. So what we're talking about right now is... What would you name the faction of Seth Rollins? I was going to say Dean Ambrose. Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Paul Heyman. I have mine. I would name it the Next Generation. Next, and I would spell Next NXT. The Next Generation.
I would also go the Messiah Protocol.
Okay. Why Messiah? Because he calls himself the Messiah?
I mean, he's the Monday Night Messiah, and then you've
Okay.
got Braun Breaker with his immense power, and, you know.
I like it. I like it.
I don't really
Both
have...
good names. If WWE chooses any of these two names, they have to pay us royalties. TM.
All right, Nikon, get out your checkbook.
We have two great names right here. I think they were... I should have saved it.
I had a whole...
I saw somewhere saying that they were going to name it something specific.
I haven't seen that yet. But what I did see is that we're going to talk about this later.
Okay. So what are we talking about today? I know we picked up where we left off.
SmackDown after WrestleMania's come and gone. We're on to the next week of Raw. I mean, it's not much more you could... We're building up to Backlash.
What's after Raw?
We're building up to Backlash.
Okay.
Next Saturday. Not this Saturday, next Saturday. Live from St. Louis,
that
Missouri.
soon?
Yeah. I don't know why they did this.
What's that, 3 weeks after WrestleMania?
Yeah. I don't know
That's
why.
super soon.
I mean, and we'll get to that too. But SmackDown, it was eh. It was like mediocre. But SmackDown was made to be where talent that wasn't being used on Raw would get more airtime on Fridays or Thursdays or whenever.
That's where Roman Reigns started.
Roman Reigns, they actually...
Well, that's where Roman Reigns got sent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is kind of trash too. But, you know, we're not going to get off topic. Let's see, we had some returns and call-ups from NXT on SmackDown.
Who was called up first? Let's start with that.
Fraxium from NXT.
Fraxium.
Nathan Frazier and Axiom.
Okay, so Fraxium sounds like a group. It's a
tag
group of
team.
two. Okay. How are they? Do you follow any
Really
of these?
good. I watched Stand and Deliver.
Okay.
I mean, they're a really good tag team. They probably should have been called up a long time ago, but, you know, we'll get to that.
Okay.
I mean, that's the only main roster debut on SmackDown. But
Was there any comebacks?
Aleister Black is back
Officially.
on Friday.
Okay, I didn't watch the episode of SmackDown.
The thing is, a lot of people aren't liking, because The Miz was like, why are people coming in? I wasn't on WrestleMania, and then you got people that have been here for 2 weeks, and they're on
I got
WrestleMania.
Miz was even in the picture.
And he was like, I've been here for 20 years, and if one more mother trucker pretty much
Right.
decides he wants to come in, then the Wet Black and Aleister Black came out. And Miz was going to tell him, who the hell do you think you are? And then he just kicks him, and that was it.
Because it was building up a feud with
But
the Miz.
the kick was botched.
For real or
Like,
work?
they botched it. It was a really bad kick.
Oh.
Like, it was supposed to hit him in here and hit him in the shoulder. I saw the video.
Yeah.
So it was a botched return.
Ah, that sucks.
It's probably why he was let go the first time from WWE and then went to AEW. they fired him, and now he's back.
They fired him? I thought he just got let go. Well, I thought he just left.
He wasn't being used, so he quit.
Makes sense.
So, that's probably why we have
Right.
Aleister Black problems. But, one thing I did notice, so 5 years ago, when he was still on WWE, he had an eye injury. Okay. I don't know if his eye is really, like, two different colors. I don't know if you've ever seen him.
No. I know who Aleister Black is.
So he got...
Or Malachi Black, whichever one you know him by.
Aleister Malachi Black.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, they took his eye and, like, jammed it into the steel steps, like the corner of it.
That sounds familiar.
Well, that eye has been blue ever since. For 5 years. We're talking about 5 years of he just...
Like your eye color blue or like...
Yeah.
Really?
He's got one dark color and one...
They knocked the color out of his eye, huh?
I don't know where they're going with it.
So they're focusing in on that.
I don't know.
Okay.
Someone pointed it out. I thought it was funny.
Oh, okay.
I didn't like it. It's one of the downsides to SmackDown. Fraxium. They faced Los Garza, the Humberto, and what is his name? He was with. What is his name? You don't see him on TV that often. That's why I can't remember their names. No.
He's not even in the WWE anymore.
It was the three. He's Mexican.
Okay.
Santos Escobar.
Oh. Okay.
There's another one with Humberto Carrillo. Anyway, they faced that team. They looked really good beating them. That's all I can say about that match.
That's good. Good. Anytime NXT talent comes up, if they don't win, they should look good doing whatever it is that they're doing. Like Stephanie Vaquer last week.
So Fraxium, or Axiom, he's masked, like Rey Mysterio. They're a high-flying team.
Okay.
Nathan Frazier's not masked, but they...
Cruiserweight style?
Yeah. Luchador.
Gotcha.
You know, the thing, Chad Gable and...
Yeah.
American Addict,
We don't know that.
New champion was crowned, and I don't agree with that either.
What title's on the line?
Women's United States Championship, Zelina Vega versus Chelsea Green. I like what they were doing with Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green's a good heel.
Gotcha.
She won the United States Championship.
Zelina Vega is Aleister Black's wife, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't understand. It was a short match. Kind of.
Oh.
It was a mediocre. It was a good. They did what they needed to with the time they were allotted.
Okay. Did they do like good storytelling within the match itself?
I kind of think. Because Zelina Vega's been in the WWE forever.
Did she leave and come back, or has she always been? Okay.
She's always been here.
Maybe that was part of like the comeback contract.
I really think they were just like, oh, you've been here long enough. You've never won a singles championship. Here you go.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of killed the... I don't know what they're going to do with Chelsea Green next.
Okay. So, like I've always said, and it's always been said, the belt doesn't make the champion. The person makes the champion.
Well, she was the Chelsea... I think the reason why they did it, too, is Chelsea Green was the first Women's United States Champion.
Yeah.
But they haven't done much to push the mid-card women's titles.
Okay.
And then...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, it all depends on what they end up doing with them, with the titles. If they're able to sell the titles and sell the actual, like, buying into the characters, it elevates the title itself.
People were buying into Chelsea Green. And then they just gave it to Zelina Vega. Which, I get it. Zelina Vega's Zelina Vega. She's been there. She's basically the Rey Mysterio of the females. Biggest underdog. I want to see what they're going to do next with her.
Everything should have a purpose. Whatever it is that you do, it should have a purpose. And they should have a method to the madness.
Right now, I don't see the purpose with Zelina Vega. Tiffany Stratton come out celebrating her big win over Charlotte Flair at Mania. And then Jade Cargill interrupts her. they have no. The match sucked.
Yeah.
They don't have. They've never wrestled each other before.
No chemistry.
The chemistry wasn't there. You can tell timing was off.
Mm. It's always tricky whenever two wrestlers who never wrestled each other kind of start that back and forth with each other, because they have to learn. It's like going into a new relationship. You have to know what are your triggers. You have to know what is your what are your likes, your dislikes.
Well, not even that. WWE didn't give her a chance. They didn't give them a chance because Nia Jax or Naomi come out, and then Nia Jax re-entered the picture. So they didn't even have a chance to feel each other out. Big mistake, because I think
huge.
I think Tiffany Stratton is the woman right now.
Yeah.
They're pushing her to the moon right now.
I mean, she beat Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, no, it was a good match.
And she should be. Charlotte Flair is a name. The Flair name in general is a name in wrestling, but the Charlotte Flair is the name in women's wrestling. You could argue maybe it's Becky Lynch, but for a long time, Charlotte Flair was the pedestal of
for sure
of women's wrestling.
And then she was gone for 3 years.
For whatever reason, right? But that beating the individual that is the benchmark for women's wrestling has to mean something. It's like you're not gonna take the O from the Undertaker and give it to Fandango. Right? Like, it has to mean something.
Exactly. So it looks like Nia Jax put herself back into the title contention. I think Naomi might be there eventually too.
Yeah.
I don't think Naomi's a big enough star to beat Tiffany Stratton. Moving on to the main event.
Main event of SmackDown.
Was a TLC match.
Really?
A triple threat TLC tag team title match.
Tag team, okay, between
the Street Profits.
I like the Street Profits.
Motor City Machine Gun, I think. I think that's what they're called.
I don't know them.
They came over from TNA.
Okay.
They're very old.
Gotcha.
And then DIY.
Gotcha.
Which I don't know if you saw, Tommaso Ciampa, like, fucking slipped.
Mm-mm.
And he gashed his chin and he had to shave his beard. So he don't even look like...
Oh, Lord. Okay.
They tried to recreate... I mean, it was a good match for what they...
How long was it? Like 20-minute match?
30 minutes.
Okay.
You remember the Jeff Hardy Edge spear?
Yeah.
They tried to recreate that with a table underneath it.
What?
When he speared him...
They missed the table?
No, they hit the table. It's just the landing looked awkward. So, I mean, there could be an injury there. But there was a lot of high-flying ability.
Action.
Montez Ford even took an amputee's, leg from the crowd.
Okay, I'm like, I hope...
Someone in the crowd gave it to him, and he beat... which I thought was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, it was a pretty mediocre... But they did.
What did they do?
The main event for SmackDown's Backlash.
Oh, they announced it.
John Cena
versus
Randy Orton.
So, my question is John Cena on SmackDown or is John Cena on Raw?
Because the Universal Championship's a SmackDown Championship.
Okay.
The world title belongs to Raw.
Okay. That clarifies that question.
This is 25 years worth of rivalry.
I will state the same thing that I stated last week. I understand that Randy Orton and John Cena have this amazing history. I understand that they have crazy chemistry. After the build-up to WrestleMania and after the WrestleMania match that we saw between him and Cody Rhodes, I am afraid that everything that John Cena does moving forward, mostly with this new character, this new heel persona, is going to
But I think
under-deliver and underwhelm.
While I agreed with the WrestleMania match, John Cena and Randy Orton might have more chemistry than John Cena and Cody Rhodes. The chemistry's always been there for them. The first match happened SummerSlam 2007 for the WWE Championship.
Look, they have chemistry, they have history. And it has nothing to do, nothing against Randy Orton. Everything to do with John Cena.
Yeah, I know.
John Cena's mic work has not been on spot. John Cena's mic work and his promos.
He should have cooked Cody Rhodes.
There should be like this character that whines and complains and blames and calls the audience an unstable relationship, a toxic relationship. It doesn't work for him.
No.
Like,
because Houston, they were in Dallas.
Yeah.
And you can tell, like, some of the crowds can't see him as a...
It's just...
Maybe, like I said, he was a heel for too long. Or he was a babyface too long. They waited too long to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Because he was supposed to turn heel during Rock and Cena. But they didn't.
But you say that they have waited too long. Hulk Hogan waited a long time to turn heel, and he worked.
It was like 10 years though. It wasn't 20 years.
Okay, great point. I go back to this: the thing that worked for Hulk Hogan, that they're not doing with John Cena, is rebranding.
You think he needs a mouthpiece?
No, he has the mic skills, and he's good at reverberating. Maybe that's not even a word. Reverberating his voice and getting his point across. He doesn't need a mouthpiece. He needs rebranding. He needs a darker, edgier side, and he doesn't have any of this.
I really think they spent so long, just like with Roman, they spent so long trying to force him down our throat as a babyface.
Yes.
And the difference is what worked for Roman's not working for Cena.
I go back to this. When Roman came back during the pandemic, he was not the dog in the yard.
He didn't wrestle.
When Roman came back, he wasn't the same person. There was a rebranding to him.
Yeah, but they added Paul Heyman.
Oh, sure, they added Paul Heyman, but you didn't need that. Like, he had good mic skills when he came back.
Roman didn't. Roman's never had good mic skills.
I disagree.
Cena's got better mic skills than Roman.
I'm not saying somebody's mic skills are better. I'm just saying that Roman's mic skills right now aren't bad at all.
Well, no.
They're actually, I would say they're really good.
Better than what they were.
Yes, absolutely.
But this is the last time ever we're probably going to see this match. And it's going to disappoint a lot of people, I think.
I'm so afraid of that.
He's got 25 dates left.
I think it goes past Backlash. There's no way that this is boom, boom, done. I can't see this feud.
WWE is being stupid right now, right? Because they're putting out these posters.
I cannot see the WWE wasting 3 weeks on building, if you can call it that, a match between John Cena. But that's not good enough. Like if you want to do him justice, both of them, you have to build it up even more.
But I'm wondering, WWE's done this, right? Where they released the poster and Randy Orton was on the Backlash poster.
Yeah.
Well, they've released the Money in the Bank
got me emotional.
They released the Money in the Bank, and on that poster is John Cena and Cody Rhodes. So,
I hope not. I
don't want to see that match again. At least not right now.
Like, I would have to have a lot of convincing for me to want to see that fight.
I think Cody... I think they kind of killed Cody's momentum with how he lost. And I blame The Rock for that. Moving on to the #1 rated cable episodic television show.
Not on cable.
My bad. We're in the Netflix era. It's not even #1 rated because so many people have other things to watch on Netflix.
Oh, I wasn't sure what this was.
Monday Night Raw.
Monday Night Raw, which technically isn't always at night.
This is true because I watched it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon a couple weeks ago. I don't know.
That's a great way to start. Okay, what do you not know?
Well, let's talk about Stephanie Vicker.
I like Stephanie Vicker.
She had a really... This is a lasting impression. And I'm pretty sure it's going to lead to a roster call-up. She's not on Raw.
They're building her really, really well for that call-up.
They had a match. It was Ivy Nile, which Ivy Nile is underutilized, in my opinion. I don't think she should be with American Made and El Grande Americano and Chad Gable. One and the same.
Why do you say that? Well, why do you say they shouldn't be together? Or she shouldn't be in that team?
She needs... I mean, I get it.
Like for her build?
Yeah, she needs to...
I can see that.
There's mid-titles.
Okay.
She's been saying, oh, I'm coming after the Intercontinental Championship. I'm coming after the Intercontinental Championship. But there's been no payoff to that.
And this is where I agree with you if that's the situation.
Talent is stacked.
Talent is stacked. I think that if they're trying to build her to be legitimate talent, she should not be with that group.
Did have a really good match with Stephanie Vicker.
Yeah.
It was a really decent match.
I liked it.
I did too.
Yeah.
For the, she's being mentored by Chad Gable behind the scenes.
Yes.
Chad Gable was an Olympian wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he didn't win gold like Kurt Angle, but
He was Olympian.
He was still an Olympian. And you can see that in her ring ability. She's with the right person. I just don't think it should be on screen. Stephanie Vicker, on the other hand, I mean, she came from AAA, and this might be why she's getting all this publicity because
You think they'll put her back on AAA?
No.
Okay, I hope not.
She's signed with WWE, even though WWE owns them.
Yeah.
I think they're still their own entity. She might be able to go and make appearances, but other than that, I think she's mainly WWE.
Right.
Like, take that NXT championship from her and bring her to Raw already. That's how good that match was to me. The match with Io Sky last week?
I do, but I think they're trying to be cautious with how they bring her up. And I don't watch much of NXT, but I wonder how...
Well, Shawn runs.
I knew that. I wonder how they transition their championships out of that championship into...
So when Kevin Owens did it...
Yeah. Did he lose?
He didn't lose. I think they kind of like... Hey, since you're going to the main roster, you're going to vacate the championship. That's how they did that.
And that makes sense. Because now you have in the NXT, you have a situation where it's the best fighting is the best for the championship. And you get multiple people in that championship.
But she's coming to Raw and having main roster, which this might be their way of seeing how far along their talent is.
Yeah.
Which is good.
And she's delivering.
She really is, but I need to see her against Bayley or, let's see something like that. I want to see the Io Sky match finish.
Well, Io Sky is she already did it with Io Sky, and they don't have to finish that one to show her talent.
I wanted to see how they were gonna finish it.
Well, that is how they finish it with an interruption.
I didn't like the finish.
But that's not. Look, you have to think about it in a strategic way, and it doesn't make sense for either Vaquer to lose, or for Io Sky to. It definitely doesn't make sense for Io Sky to lose. It makes more sense for Vaquer to lose.
No, I agree.
That makes sense. But they're building her up to be, which it looks like they're building her up to be this monster.
She's a really good wrestler. She can fly.
she's one of the best female wrestlers that I've seen in a really long time. Io Sky being definitely up there.
Yeah. So while we're talking about women,
Okay.
Becky Lynch explained herself.
What was the explanation? I watched it, but I didn't hear.
She attacked Bayley.
I didn't listen.
She was the one that attacked Bayley, which I knew that. Whoever was gonna replace Bayley, I kind of figured she was the one that attacked Bayley.
Okay. And what was the reasoning behind it?
Basically, Bayley's been pushing me around and getting everybody to love her, and I'm a hugger.
Yeah.
Lyra came out, and I'm intrigued by this match. Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. They're going to have to elevate the Intercontinental Championship. So I think in order for this heel turn to work, Becky has to win this match.
I agree.
I also think a heel turn's it might be coming from Bayley, but the way Becky was talking, you can tell, and you were saying this last week, she's been talking like her husband. You know what I mean? There's tie-in.
I get you.
I don't know how much of the interview you saw
Between
Bayley or Becky Lynch and Lyra.
I watched it. Look, honestly, yesterday I was working on my floor. I had a lot of shit to do at home, but I was listening in the background as I was doing everything that I was doing. One of the things that I'm noticing right now is that there are some people in the WWE that are so over that it's so hard to see them as heels. Dominic being one of them.
We'll talk to that in a
minute. But the man, Becky Lynch, is definitely another one. She came out to a standing ovation. She came out to people chanting her name. She came out to people cheering for her.
But now she's getting booed like hell. She's one to flip a crowd.
I guess I wanted to see it. I wanted to see how she does it.
I also think this is a way for Bayley to come in and turn on Lyra.
But that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for Becky Lynch to injure Becky Lynch.
You mean Bayley?
So sorry for Becky Lynch to injure Bayley, and then for Lyra and then for Bayley to go against.
I don't know how that's gonna go.
Lyra.
But what I do know is we have a couple of new title contenders, and I said this last week. Logan Paul versus Jey Uso.
You did say that.
At Backlash.
Yes.
I mean, there wasn't much to it. They said a couple words. Jey super kicked him, and then later on, Jey Uso got knocked the fuck out.
Yeah.
I might be intrigued by that. I mean, Jey shouldn't be doing the spear, in my opinion.
Yeah, I know. Look, we've talked about this. The spear's overused.
Logan Paul, he's the heel to be hated. I mean, he's a good heel because he's like... And then my favorite line from that was Jey saying, I'm not going to let some punk-ass YouTuber take this title from me.
But it's such an easy cop-out to call him a punk-ass YouTuber. It's such a... that's like...
But this...
It's like whenever they call The Miz the reality star.
Yeah.
Like, it's a cop-out to call him that, and it's...
Eventually, everybody's going to come around. Logan Paul will be a babyface eventually.
Did you ever watch the movie 8 Mile?
Yes.
You know, the rap scene.
Which one?
I'm about to tell you. The rap battle where he pretty much dogs on himself the whole time, so the other person doesn't have anything to say.
The last part. That was the last rap that they did. Yeah.
Like, this is the Logan Paul doing that same situation, but he does it about himself all the time. I'm a YouTuber, so he doesn't take any of those things as offensive. YouTube star, YouTube kid, Disney kid, Disney actor. He always already says all that about himself. So, as soon as I heard you said that was your favorite line, that was my least favorite line in that promo.
It's just the way that he said it.
Okay.
That had to be their moment. Go back and watch it. Let's see what I'm talking about. Then, AJ Styles versus Dom Mysterio. I want to see this match. I don't know why, but I want to see it.
This is, to me, I think Dominic is going to win.
Yeah, for sure.
And this is a passing of the torch.
It has to be. Cause
it's not going to be like a monumental
AJ's
moment.
got 2 years left.
Yeah.
He's only wrestling till he's 50. So, I mean, outside of that, I mean, that was, besides what happened with Seth Rollins, that's the talking point. This is what it's all about.
Dominic Mysterio and AJ Styles?
No.
With the
Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman and Braun Breaker.
Yes.
And Sami Zayn.
Okay, so we're getting into this right now?
That's all I have.
Okay. There was no little transition between Dominic to...
There's not. This is how Raw went.
Look, if I'm confused, how do you not expect them to be confused?
This is how Raw went.
Okay, so what's next?
Raw
what happened next on Raw?
With Seth Rollins talking about, oh, I'm the Messiah. I'm the future of this business.
Yes.
Blah, blah, blah. Sami Zayn interrupts him. Doesn't agree with him. And Seth basically tells him he has until the end of the night to figure out if he's going to join me or you're going to go to SmackDown.
Or go to SmackDown. Or get your ass beat.
Yeah, pretty much. But
I want to say one thing before we keep going. There was a warning that was giving... Not a warning. There was an individual who talked to Sami Zayn and said a couple words. Do you remember who that is?
Karrion Kross.
Karrion Kross. So what did I say?
He's going to be getting more TV time.
Yes.
I did read that somewhere.
Okay.
I really think they're going to push him finally after like 5 years.
I think Karrion Kross ends up being part of the group.
I really think.
Look, he's the only one that makes sense. To me, he's the only one that makes sense.
A lot of people are saying Austin Theory.
Look. Yes, it could be Austin Theory. That is the next one technically on my list, but I do not want it to be Austin Theory.
Karrion Kross, right? He's been in so many groups lately.
Yeah.
Then his people get released. They've done him so wrong. And he might get justification with this. Yeah. It might be a way to get him into the forefront of, hey, I'm here. You know, it's going to get he's going to bust the door wide open if he gets into this group. And he might.
Yes.
You know, he said something about the bloodline. The bloodline crumbled. I mean, he's a prophet, pretty much, is what Karrion Kross is at this point in time.
Okay. We got the Messiah, the prophet, and the breaker.
Yeah. And then it fits. It does fit. I don't not agree with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sorry for the double negative. English teachers, get over it. So, Paul Heyman comes into the locker room and he was like, Braun Breaker has demanded a match with you. And he says, you don't have to have this match. You can go to SmackDown, and whoever wins out of Cena versus Orton, you get the next match. Cena versus... Because we know Cena's going to win the Backlash. Cena versus Zayn does not make sense. So I already knew from the get-go that he wasn't joining you. We're talking about predictive.
Yeah.
Pandemonium ensued. Sami Zayn tried to fight Braun Breaker. And he just got speared like 4 times.
But it makes him look so bad. Like
the one to the outside was the most brutal. And then...
Yeah, they will go all the way around.
But I will say, it's not done. The group doesn't feel complete. You can tell they're trying to find somebody else. Mm-hmm. So in about a week or two, because they'll probably have a match at Backlash, maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't know how they're going to introduce that person or people. Because you remember with Evolution, Triple H was wrestling, and then Ric Flair came out,
Mm-hmm.
and then a couple months later, Randy Orton come out, and then a couple months later, it was gradually over time. This doesn't need to be rushed.
It doesn't.
But it also can't be like they did with the Wyatt Six.
Oh my god!
Which
I was so excited for the Wyatt Six.
There's still something in the works with that.
Okay.
But they're not on TV right now.
Gotcha. Like I say, the easiest person to put into this group has to be Becky Lynch. Not saying that it will be, but that's the easiest transition to look. Braun Breaker's fighting with somebody, Seth Rollins is fighting with somebody, Seth Rollins is getting his ass beat, Braun Breaker's not there to defend him. Who comes out to get Seth Rollins back? Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch comes in.
Or Karrion Kross.
Sure. That would be like I don't know why, but Karrion Kross is the highest on my list. But Becky Lynch is the easiest to transition into the role. She's already a heel. It makes sense because they have that relationship. She could be. I hate calling her the China to this group, but she could be a China ass.
She's already been. People who are linked to this group. Mm-hmm. Braun Breaker was already working with Paul Heyman, and I've seen where. Since Seth is already working with Paul Heyman, it just makes sense. Yes, I get that.
Yeah.
What is Karrion and Scarlett?
And you have a good point. Karrion Kross comes with I don't want to call her baggage because that's not what it is, but it's a package deal.
Yeah. So I don't know, and also too.
What's Austin Theory up to right now? Is just not being utilized?
He's about to get. They've been trying to split Grayson Waller and Austin Theory apart, and I think that's what's going to end up happening.
Like a backstab to Grayson Waller and then joining the.
But I don't know. It could be. It might not even be him. This is just what I've seen people want. Someone said Austin Theory makes sense for this group. I haven't seen him heel enough for this group.
Austin Theory has too much of an ego to share the space with.
Someone even said Carmelo Hayes. But you would have to bring him over from. There's a draft coming up, but don't know when exactly. But Carmelo Hayes doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. Did you know Randy Orton? While we're talking about this faction, Randy Orton wasn't the original.
Oh yeah, no, he wasn't. It was some other.
It was
I don't know who it was, but is
Mark Jindrak.
Yeah, he's like this big, tall, white dude with long hair.
And Triple H said it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
So
he was just jealous because he can't have another white dude with long hair.
Yeah. So matches we got for Backlash so far: Randy Orton, John Cena, Jey Uso. Jey Uso. And Logan Paul. I don't know why, but I'm intrigued.
Me too. Pat
McAfee and Gunther.
Versus Gunther.
Gunther has to kill him. Gunther has to kill him.
It's definitely going to be a beating. I think there's going to be interference of some sort. It has to be. Because there's no way that... How do you build a fight between somebody who's never got in the ring before?
Well, Pat McAfee's been in a match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, but it was like star talent. It wasn't like you could build a better one with Logan Paul and Gunther.
Yeah, but you can't have heel versus heel. It don't make sense.
No, I'm just talking about like if we're talking about individuals who've never wrestled before.
Yeah. No, I get
who
you.
haven't been in the wrestling business.
It's definitely gonna be. Gunther's gonna win the match.
He has to. If he doesn't, it has to be because there's a crazy interference in this match.
Yeah. So, that's really all I have for Raw.
Yeah, I mean, that's everything that's going on in WWE right now. Shit.
Coming up May 10th, Backlash from St. Louis.
That's
you can
on.
get that on Peacock.
That's on the Saturday before Mother's Day. So, for those of you who know that your mom really, really wants to see,
John Cena versus Randy Orton, under deliver.
yeah, take them to Backlash or just get her on Peacock.
I don't know. I'm not excited yet. I think they needed to have an extra week.
I think this is the quickest build that I've seen.
There's been no transition.
An epic fight.
That's why I said Cena's gonna win and it's gonna suck.
Yeah.
Just like WrestleMania.
Let us know in the comments. What do you think? Who do you think is going to be the best person to
join this new faction?
Join the new faction.
And whatever they're gonna call it.
Yeah, and what do you think they're gonna call it? I think it's gonna be the next generation.
But I also want to know what would make John Cena's heel turn better.
Other than rebranding.
Yeah, other than the obvious.
Yeah, other than rebranding.
But thank you for watching Chair Shots and Chit Chats. Please like, comment, subscribe, tell your brother, your mother, your uncle, your cousin.
The dog.
Anybody that has a YouTube, let them know.
With that being said, peace.